everybody. Welcome to the April 5th, 2019 HotBox 2.0. The first rule of HotBox 2.0 is that you do not talk about HotBox 2.0 except on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Second rule of HotBox 2.0 is that we record it. We put it on the HotBox 2.0 YouTube page. We put it there for your mom to see it. So she needs to know that you're eating and that you're alive. Call your mom. If you don't want it up there, just say so. We'll do you a solid. We'll take it down. Third rule of HotBox 2.0 is it's a 7-minute mic. We let you, when you have 1 minute left, go over and I beat your ass. Beat your ass. It's that simple. Fourth and final rule of HotBox 2.0 is we have a no-joke challenge today. Today's no-joke challenge means that if you start talking about the subject, we will cool you out of the room. Cool. Oh, so cool. You're so cool. Today's subject is Jesse Smollett. We do not want to hear about him. So. All right. So, let's see. My co-host is Christopher Boatwright. He also might... Boatwright. He also might beat your ass for no reason.
Oh, there's a fucking reason.
Oh, there's reasons? Okay. Alright, with all that out of the way, hey everybody, my name is April Gallaty. I am originally from Georgia, thank you. That's where I get this wonderful little accent from that I can't seem to get rid of. I know I sound like Paula Deen. This accent is thick with butter and assumed racism. I know. Can't do anything about it. Being from the South, I use my sirs and ma'ams a lot. In the South, we use it as punctuation. So it's, yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir, go to hell sir. Whatever you gotta do, you gotta use it as punctuation. So moving here to the Northwest, I found out that people here don't like it as much. It's kind of an insult almost. So the very first job I took, I got called to HR within about 2 weeks from a coworker who said that I was being ageist because I kept calling her ma'am. And I was like, oh, honey, no. I'm not being ageist when I call you ma'am. It's just that at work I can't call you a bitch. So that's the way that goes. Yeah, and can you believe I got fired for trying to be nice to somebody? That is not fair. It's not fair. I moved here to the Pacific Northwest about 13 years ago. And when you move, you need hairdressers, you need doctors, that sort of thing. And I found myself in need of a dentist. So the very first time I'm like at the dentist office, I'm laying there on my back. The dentist is like digging around in my mouth and he's like, wow, you have got a tiny little mouth. And I'm like, I know. And please, can you keep that a secret? Because my husband he thinks, but we don't want to tell him the truth. About 8 years ago, I had surgery. I had a hysterectomy. And ladies, a hysterectomy is everything you think it is. It is pretty panties, clean sheets, and unlimited unprotected sex. It's quite delightful. It is. It's very delightful. It has its positives. The negatives, though, is I feel like I'm like staring down the barrel of an early menopause. And it's going to shoot my husband like right in the face. It's going to kill him. I'm scared for him. I really am. I should have seen menopause coming early because puberty hit me quick. I was about 12 years old. I woke up one morning. I was covered in hair and blood, and I had these giant boobs, and I walked out in the living room, and I looked at my mom, and I'm like, are we werewolves? What happened? Did I kill somebody last night? She's like, no.
That's funny.
Explain it all to me. This morning, and it's funny, you wake up, you're covered in, you've got all this hair and stuff, and it never goes away. Like, this morning I was standing in the mirror with my husband, and he was shaving his head and grooming his beard, and I was standing there grooming my hair and shaving my beard. So, it all works out the same way. Menopause has been interesting to me. I think, though, because of it, I finally understand why men leave their middle-aged wives. It's because they're pining for the days when women have periods. When a woman has a period, you can do something about it. You can give them Midol, you know, you can bring them ice cream, you know, it's deal, yeah, you can deal with it, right, exactly. But, you know, menopause, there's nothing you can do for it. Periods are like a pit bull. It's got teeth, you're going to bleed, but you're going to live. Menopause is like a T-Rex, and it's going to bite my husband and eat him in one bite. It's just, and he's going to disappear. The other day, okay, menopause is interesting because I feel like I'm drying out and aging really fast. Like, my eye prescription changed overnight. My eyes are shrinking and shriveling up with my ovaries. It's not, I'm drying out, my hair is graying, I know exactly how I look. I look exactly like a woman who just left her second husband for her first wife. But that's not how I'm going to do it. I'm going to kill him slowly with poison like we do in the South. But, yeah, like the other day, okay, I'm drying out really quickly, but I'm always horny. The other day, I go out into the living room. I know my husband's in there. I can hear him. I go in there. He goes stock still. And I'm like, you asshole. I know you're in here. And I'm going to find you. And when I do, I'm going to fuck you. It's going to happen. And then sex has changed. The reason that he hides from me now is that sex has changed. Like, when we first got married 23 years ago, sex was like, you know, the thick, luxurious, beautiful hair and the glistening skin. If my knees worked, I could do the job. And, you know, my tits were way up high. It was great, you know. Now, 23 years later, here we are. I'm going through menopause, you know. It's like I still have the thick, luxurious, beautiful hair, but it's coming out in all kinds of places. I don't glisten anymore. I sweat. And now I look like the center of a football team, like trying to stay on, you know. I'm trying not to hurt my husband. And on top of all that, my boobs aren't up high anymore. They're way down low. He's down there, and he's just like, shit, and I'm just beating the snot out of him with my tits. It's terrible. Age is not good. I don't like it. I'm not liking this at all. So, but anyway. All right. Well, thank you guys for listening to my stuff. We're going to get this party started. All right. It looks like... Ooh, I'm excited. This is one of my favorite comics in the area. One of the first comics coming up for your entertainment pleasures is Bram Kennedy. Give it up.
Bram, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Here go Bram.
yeah. I like this guy's moxie. I just thought it'd be cool if we could start saying moxie again, but
Yeah,
you guys aren't
say
down for
Moxie.
it. He's into it, but he's into a lot of stuff I'm not down for, so. If Christopher Boatwright likes your idea, reconsider. Think about it. Think about what you're doing with your life.
Yeah, that's right.
Just, I mean, he's got some good ideas, but people have a lot of ideas. Anyways. I've got a key cutter at work. I can make copies of keys. So if anybody's looking for if anybody's got like a girlfriend's key that says "Do not duplicate,"
Oh, jeez.
I got your back. He needs one. He knows. He's got a couple people. You know what? This is the best way for me to drum up business. I should just. It's not something you can really advertise in any sort of text form. You can't have a paper trail of you soliciting keys to other people's homes.
There's a camera in front of you.
What do I do with it?
Yeah, it's a trail.
No, I don't want a paper trail.
Oh.
It's digital video footage of me physically saying something, and then getting customers that later, if they link me to you, this is for both of us. If you were here, you're fucked. You're all going down. You're all part of this now. I just brought you all in on my black market key thing. Okay, so it does not. You do not have to be that reputable of a person to get access to a key cutter and other people's apartments. You just say you just have like I can change light bulbs, I can unclog toilets, and I'm like, you know what, we need you. We need idiots to run this. We need to get some like real cheap people who can unclog toilets for us. and you get like you get people's keys, and you get like the authority to enter their apartments. You can really tell like what's going on with when Christopher, and then I don't know what his identifier is yet, but this is an interesting man. We're not going to get into it. You're amazing. You're amazing. Don't kill me. I'm gonna try to do not. Oh! The last maintenance guy at my apartment complex was a real creep. He had like sexual assault charges on him, and I guess he was like running drugs and stuff.
Yeah.
Very freaky. So it's like, I do not have to do that much to get like really high reps in this apartment. Is that the right way to say it? High reps? That's. Am I lifting weights for my residents? Is that what I'm doing these days? Anyways, guys, this is all good. This is where we want to be. We all want to be here right now, right? What was I going to say about that? We were onto something. I was really getting somewhere good, and I was letting myself kind of trail off. So so under this guy's apartment in the crawl space was like 25 pounds of baking soda, which means he was making a lot of baked goods. Do I need to so okay, I think, what do you use baking soda? What is like what would like a dirty person be using baking soda for?
Brush your teeth with it.
It's dirty. Oh, I guess if you're not using toothpaste.
Clean bones. Covers massive reflux.
I thought someone told me you make crack with it. Is that
He
why
says
not?
dirty person. Crack
He knows.
are cool.
He knows all about it. What do you use to make your crack, Christopher? What do you cut it with? What's the move? Holy water? You make your crack with holy water? I want that stuff. That sounds good. That sounds like the crack I want. That sounds like, anyways, that's like the medicinal stuff. Okay. My dad won't buy me another gun because he thinks I sold the first one for drugs. And I don't want to tell him that I sold it for magic cards. So we're just gonna like let him think I'm a badass. We're gonna let him think I'm a rebel instead of like. You're supposed to keep your guns locked up in a safe. But my daughter can't reach the kitchen counter, so. It sneaks up on you. One of these days she's going to find a way to open those drawers. But until then, I want it out in the open for my, anyways. Still eating at Chick-fil-A.
What the fuck?
But when I'm waiting for my order, I go in the bathroom and suck a dick. I'm totally straight, but I'll suck a mean dick for gay rights. It's hard. I went to Popeyes and they kicked me out for like PDA that they were uncomfortable with too. I mean, our dicks were under the table. I don't know. But they wanted us out. I mean, whose dick do I gotta suck to get some fried chicken? I always think that's gonna be way funnier than it is, but like, also sometimes there's somebody who's totally willing to give me some fried chicken for me to suck their dick. It's cheap. It's a cheap blowjob. Just all I need is some good fried chicken. I'll take chicken McNuggets. Give me enough chicken McNuggets that equals a little bit of quality. Anyways, good. The new UFC game, it's not that new, but like the newest one, you can take pictures and put the pictures of faces on the fighters. So you can like kick somebody's ass, it's like you doing it. I like to upload the faces of the different girls that I've had sex with. I'm really sure, I can't say like what I have them do next because it's, well, I haven't beat each other up, guys. I'm not a bad guy. My daughter listens to Cardi B. It's like she's her favorite artist. It makes me really nervous with like this news that came out Like now I'm uncomfortable leaving my coffee out around my daughter. She's gonna wake up and she's gonna have eaten all the fruit snacks. Painted my fingernails, I don't know. Guys, have a good night.
Let's keep it lively for Brian Kennedy, everybody. I think it'll be fine as long as she can't drug you, Bram. I think it'll work out all right.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess April's right. I've been looking. I haven't engaged in anything violent in a long time, and maybe that's affecting my politics. I think hitting needs to come back. Not a lot of hitting, just a little hitting, corrective social hitting. If you give somebody a right now problem, like, I'm going to be homeless tomorrow, and they start talking to you about, like, economics and shit, you should be able to hit the fuck out of that person right there, right? If you give a right now problem and they give you a 20-year solution, fuck that fucking person, right? Smack, bam! I mean, it's not going to solve anything, but you'll feel better for like 3 seconds. And you'll probably, if they call the cops, have some place to stay. So, problem solved. Deep thinkers, it's fine. You guys coming to the stage is somebody that I like to think of as a comedian. And you'd appreciate it if you'd go along with it. So let's give it up for Mr. Cam Strong.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. You in the corner there. Hi, what's going on over here? We got people. I just got married. I just changed my name to Mary. Thank you. All right, y'all like a jokes. Cool. I hope to see you in the future. Okay, we're here in the future. You're here. Cool. I don't know how I don't know. I'm sorry. The reality is weird. Like somebody like, it's a simulation. This is reality. I don't know. I don't know what we're in. Rent's due on the 1st. That's where I am. I know 2 things. Rent's due on the 1st, and I like my balls being licked. And those are my 2. That's all I know. Like, for sure, those are the only 2 that I guide my life on those 2 principles. I pay my rent, and I try to get my balls licked, and they help each other, I find. People who want to lick my balls like that they have a place to do it in. And as long as I keep those 2 going, I am fucking gold, baby. I was watching I saw a dog today and it was sleeping, and the dog was running, and it's sleep, you know? The sleep dream is running. I was like, I'm glad that humans don't do that. Because Usain Bolt would fuck up his mattress. And then I saw a dog humping my leg, and I was like, I'm glad humans don't do that. Because Usain Bolt would fuck up my leg. You know? God damn, how big do you think Usain's dick is? Pretty big, right? I kind of wanted to cut it off and set the world record again. You know, I think I'm kind of upset he hasn't done it. I thought you were serious, Usain. Are you trying to what? You just bullshitting us, guy for dick? Sprint. I don't know. I went to a urinal the other day, and there's urine on the toilet seat. There's urine on the toilet seat in the guy's bathroom. It's like, come on, fellas, same team. What are you doing? You're supposed to pee on the ladies' toilet seat. Come on, same side. I hate when guys pee on other guys, like, cause whenever I go in the restroom, there's urine on the toilet seat, I have to clean it. I do it every time. I clean, because I can't come out and there's someone there and I'd be like, oh, that urine was on the seat when I got in there. You know? They're not going to believe that. They're going to think I pee on the toilet seat and I'm a fucking monster. So I clean the urine off the toilet seat. And it's the most emasculating thing I've ever done in my life. I think cuckolds look at me and they're like, look at this fucking bitch over here. Look at this guy cleaning another man's urine off a toilet seat. What are we talking about? Where are we on this stupid thing? Oh man, I have herpes. I get cold sores. I get them. I can't help it. I was born with it. My mom gave me her herpes. Thank you very much, Mom. So now I'm on dates. I tell women, hey, I have, one every now and then when I'm stressed, a lot of the weather, I get a cold sore. And they're like, cool, it's good me knowing you. But I think it's important to do that because, like, Okay, this bit's not going well. We're skipping it. Does anyone have any requests? I don't know what we're talking about. There's the 28 richest people in the world own half of the wealth. I read that recently. The 28 richest people own half of the stuff in the world. There's like 12. How many people? There's 15 people in here. That's like if all of us owned Europe. You know, like that's the kind of wealth inequality we're talking about. Us 15 own Disneyland, Sony, toilets. We own every toilet. Twinkies. We own missionary stuff. Like that's the kind of crazy wealth. 28 people own half the wealth in the world. The other half is split between 7.7 billion people. All I'm hearing from that is we're 28 deaths. We're 28 murders away from doubling everything we own. That's what I hear. When I hear that stat. I think we should murder those 28 people. I'm shocked that we haven't done it yet myself. That would be my biggest fear. If I was one of the 28 richest people in the world, like I'd look at my window like, oh fuck, honey, they've gathered. I knew we should have taught them math. And then we killed them. That's my real... You know, if the 28 richest people died, you know who looks really suspicious? The 29th richest person. That guy, I think he killed them. And I've always wondered, what like, all those, like, I'm gonna take over the world people, you know what I'm talking about? Like, I'm gonna take over, like, what happens after you take over the world? I never got that part. I never understood, like, what? I own everything. Now let's develop infrastructure. Let's educate them. Let's put pipes in. I don't know what happens after that. Do you just like Mars? Let's go for Mars. That's a pretty good question. I just don't have a better joke about it.
That was good.
Thank you. Oh man. I started my my artisan salt store. That's I haven't had a drink of water in 3 weeks. Whatever's coming out of me is not pee, but it tastes great on popcorn. Okay. Thank you. I've been pretty lonely lately. Like, I'm a lonely guy. I've gotten days without no one texting me. I've went 3 days without a text message. And I eventually convinced myself that my phone is broken. My phone does not work correctly anymore. And I was like, I'm going to call T-Mobile and complain. Then I was like, what, am I crazy? What, like, hey guys, no one's texted me in 3 days. And they're like, yeah, you're a loser. Like, that has nothing to do with us. What do you want? All right. Anyway, guys, I'm Cam Strong. Thank you for listening. Hey. Everyone have a good night.
Good job, Cam.
Give it up for Cam. Alright, Cam was talking about having cold sores. And one of the things that I fucking hated about the South, and one of the reasons why I left, is because how fucking ignorant people can be. And when I was 12 years old, I got my very first cold sore, and Cam, I'm talking to you. You better pay attention to me, sir.
I'm listening.
And I got my very first cold sore, and I know exactly who I got it from, and I know why. I was 12 years old. I was at my brother's wedding. His future mother-in-law had a cold sore, and she walked over, and my mom said she was just far enough away that she couldn't stop it. And the lady walked up to me, and she goes, oh, you know what they say, kiss a redhead and make a cold sore go away. And she was reaching for my face, and my mom was like, no! And it was too late. She just right on the lips, and I've had cold sores ever since. It was disgusting, and I hate it, and I hope she's dead. All right, your next comic coming up is also one of my favorite, more morbid, macabre comics. I love her. She's my favorite. Give it up for Amy Phillips.
Hi. HotBox it.
Yeah.
I'm really liking all the creepy humor, and it reminds me of something that I said to a boyfriend once, where I was like, hey, maybe it wouldn't feel like the Heimlich if you stopped trying to get away from me when I hug you. Recently got my hair cut. I went to a legitimate barber, and I said, I want to look like a handsome prince. but only on this side. And this lovely woman is cutting my hair, doing all this stuff. And there's people sitting there watching her do this to me. And I kind of felt like I asked her to just abandon all of her craftsmanship to do this ransom note of a haircut. And she's like, okay, we'll do this. And there's people sitting there watching her. Like, we don't want her to do our hair after that. And I start hearing them talk, and they're like, did this girl lose a bet? Like, what's wrong with her? My favorite one, this guy was like, girl, you got your hair on sideways. I'm like, this is a woman's right to choose safe and affordable birth control. I'm at the counter paying my bill, and I'm talking to the lady, and I'm like, oh, do you have any business cards? And she's like, yeah, no, I'm all out. You want to be attached to this? I study and practice magic, which you can probably tell by. And I think that Facebook's algorithm is onto me because things come up through my feed like sponsored ads of like, is ESP real? And I'm like, who gives a fuck? And then I'm like, wait, you do. You give a fuck. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do my practices. I'm gonna try astral projection. And you never really know if you left your body until you actually leave your body. And I actually left my body. I always thought I hadn't come out. And I'm like, pew, 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 like a buoy. And I'm like, fuck, I'm right there, but I'm up here. And then I started panicking. How the fuck do you get back in? Because sometimes it's really hard to get back in. So I'm like, I'm gonna sit on myself. I'm gonna sit on it. And I'm like, no. Took every ounce of self-restraint not to write balls on my forehead. Because you should always check your work, you know, when you come back and then be like, oh, it worked, it was for real. So I'm kind of like trying everything I can. I finally was just like, I'm going in. So I just dove into my own vagina. And I'm thinking, wouldn't that be great if I woke up right then and it was like the world's worst breech birth? It was like super meta, where it's like Amy and yeah.
Wow.
The top. Oh, darn, I wasn't sure. But that works. It will get you back in.
That was deep.
I deep dove. Top two things people ask me, they're like, oh my god, you practice magic? Can you tell me how to do a spell for love? I'm like, spell for love? Spell for love. All right, okay. FORLOVE. I'm proud of you guys. I didn't get anything thrown at me. They also ask me, how do you hex somebody? I'm like, hexing, if you don't know, is what assholes do when they have no other way to solve problems creatively. I don't do that. I spent many years in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, home of the Amish. And usually when you think of Amish, you think of like big beards and farm raising and fattening food. All of that is completely true. What a lot of people don't know is that beards are not something they always have. They don't always grow them. They grow them after they get married. It's like a wedding ring for your face. So when I moved to the Pacific Northwest, it was a really weird adjustment because everyone here has a beard. And any guy that talked to me with a beard, I'm like, I'm not a homewrecker. Like, oh God, oh. Talking to the grocery store, stop. I don't want to mess, like, I'm afraid of those Amish women. Those gals, I'm not going to call them ladies, I'm going to call them gals. Because they pull animals out of other animals. Like, I do not want to mess with them. I'm going to get in a fight with your wife. My mom is 73, and she likes to ask me really strange questions sometimes, like, 69. 69. I've heard that number. What does that number mean? And I'm like, you don't know? And she's like, yeah, I've heard that for years. I'm like, many years. And part of me was like, I wanted to say, oh, I'll tell you when you're older, but we don't really know. We don't know how long she has left. So I'm like, okay, I'll just tell her. So I start telling her. I get like halfway through. Don't even get to the clam jam part. And I was like, will you put the, and she's like, why would you put that in your mouth?
Sure.
Rent? Why would her. For Mother's Day, I'm like, I'm gonna give her the director's cut of Mommy Dearest. Because I really like that movie. It's hilarious. Joan Crawford, if you haven't seen it. Great actress. Feeding her child with the wire hangers. Ging, ging, no more wire hangers. And I'm like, too late. Like 7 years too late. And that is not how you beat a child with a wire hanger. Like, do it like the rest of us. Amateur. It's terrible. Let's see, I got 1 minute. Okay, let's talk about Morrissey, because fuck that guy. I didn't do so well in school. I've been blaming Morrissey for years. It goes something like this. I showed up one day, and they're like, we're doing a pop quiz. It's an essay question. It's an essay question. Who was Joan of Arc? And I'm like, fuck, I was smoking in the bathroom. And then I'm scraping through my mind. I'm like, what the fuck? It was Joan of Arc, and I'm like, oh wait. It was that Morrissey song. And now I know how Joan of Arc felt. Now I know how Joan of Arc felt. And I'm like, no, you fucking don't. And here's how I know he doesn't. As the flames rose to her Roman nose, and her hearing aids started to melt. So I wrote that shit down. I'm like, she was Roman. She was deaf. And she burned to death. And I handed it, and they were like, failure. Not doing that one again. Ugh, burn me once. To the tune of like a 2.0 GPA. Fuck that guy. Thank you. I'm Amy Phillips. Woo!
All right, everybody, Amy Phillips. You know, she's gonna be the only person that hates Morrissey right now for reasons unrelated to his vehement racism and nationalism. He's a very entertaining guy. Nothing. That's fine. It's not a big news reading room. It's fine.
Oh, that was fun.
I don't know which god mantises are praying to, but I don't think it likes the dude mantises very much at all. But you know who I like very much at all? This next comedian coming to the stage, Mr. Pat James, everybody. Let's keep it up. Get home.
Hello, everybody. Oh, was there like 12? Hi. Hi, okay, fine. Somebody recently told me that I look like a serial killer who's too much of a pussy to make his first kill.
No, you're not.
You're right, no, I'm actually... Guys, I've got news for you! I'm not talking about the body in my trunk. No, I got approved for an auto loan. Yeah, because the Real Doll Company doesn't finance. Yeah, no, it was weird because when I went to the bank, they needed me to show proof of insurance. And because well, I'm a big Prince fan, I went to this little mom and pop shop to get it insured. I mean, it might have been a meth head behind a Dutch Bros, but who knows. But, you know, I registered and I now have insured a little red Corvette. But the guy who was at the bank, turns out he was a real car guy, and I am not. I am not a car guy. And he started to describe what it was like to drive a Corvette. He's like, yeah, it's all around you, and it's just like fucking a hot woman. And I was just like, this is exactly what I'm getting this loan for. Does anybody know where to get GHB? Or, okay, make with that or a shitload of Benadryl, because I agreed to take this guy out to show him my new Corvette. And Karen, as we will call her, my prosthetic girlfriend, she does, when she got out of the crate, she had the new car smell, you know? So I figure if I put her in my trunk, and then I get this guy completely hammered, I can just drive him around, and he's gonna think, whatever, because like, in a little bit, she's not gonna smell like a new car. She's gonna smell like calorie pears. If you don't know what calorie pears are, they're these trees that smell like cum. The trunk of my car is gonna smell like medical grade latex and a mountain of jizz. It's gonna smell like a documentary about a Japanese girl and 30 of her closest friends. It's all my fucking roommate's fault. He said that I was too short to date attractive women. Actually, I'm pretty sure everybody in here has heard this joke before, but whatever, we'll go with it. So I'm 5'9½". So online, I round up and I'll put that I'm 6'5". And then when I go on dates, I stay committed to it, so I'll wear stilts. And women get uncomfortable when they notice that something's a little bit off, and they'll start to ask questions like, shouldn't your arms be a little bit longer? Who are you? How did you find me? Listen, if you don't want somebody to find you online, don't take a picture of yourself next to your car with the license plate in the frame. I'm not a stalker. I'm not a stalker. I'm an opportunist. Let's see if I can go through this. Okay, so I think part of the reason why I'm terrible with women is because I have terrible parents. No, I mean, sir, my mom is a cunt. Let me rephrase that. That is a little bit strong. My mother is the Michelangelo of familial trauma, and I am her Sistine Chapel. Her paint was a scalding hot faucet, and her marble, my 2-year-old hands. Am I painting a clear enough picture? She certainly did.
Wow.
Because of her, I spent most of my childhood in and out of hospitals. And around that time, I was around a lot of Make-A-Wish kids. Back then, Hulk Hogan was the guy to see. So every now and then, I would see his entourage go into one of the kids' rooms. And I'd always picture, like, is he just going in there, just like, it's time for the long sleep, brother, and then just tuck them in. But in addition to being a terrible human being, my mother was also very good at making poor life choices. Like, you can't have the shitty milk chocolate without the weird peanut butter paste. That's right, Reese's is a terrible candy. She married a man so that way she could inherit everything that he owned. And when he died in prison, inevitably, as all of my mother's lovers will do, getting so much quicker at saying that, it's, yes. She did. She inherited everything that he owned. She inherited a bitchin' sword collection. And as somebody who's been to the Juggalo gathering, unironically, these swords couldn't slice through watermelons. They couldn't slice through milk jug. What I'm trying to say is that these swords couldn't cut it. That joke is hacky. There's like 3 levels to that joke, but I'm the only one. But I slept under those swords for 14 nights like Damocles, wondering if they would fall into my skull so I could finally meet Hulk Hogan. My therapist doesn't know whether or not to diagnose me with severe post-traumatic stress disorder or a bad case of Hulkamania. Is nostalgia just like gentrified post-traumatic stress disorder? All right, thank you guys.
All right, thank you very much. All right, you were talking about the creepy stuff. Last night I was at, it was a couple nights ago. I was at a bar. I was doing a show. And there were 4 children in the room. And anybody who doesn't know me knows that all of my stuff is about menopause and sex and periods, and I say cunt a few times, and it usually doesn't work out well with children in the room. So I gave everybody the choice when I came to the end. I was like, all right, I can close this out with one of two things. I can talk about menopause or I can talk about Ted Bundy. What'll it be? And they said Ted Bundy.
Oh, Jesus.
They said Ted Bundy. And I was like, okay, I'd like to point out that there's 4 children in this room, and I could talk about natural things that happen like sex and the things that happen to people as they grow older, or I can talk about a man who kills women and has sex with their dead bodies. So here we go. And so that's where I went. I took these kids down a very dark path. I told them I was like, Ted Bundy was the perfect man. He was. He never cheated on his girlfriend. He was in a long-term relationship with the same woman. He never cheated on her. And if you want to argue with me that he had sex with the corpses, 'tis true. But I would argue with you that dead meat means that he didn't cheat. I would also argue that it's not an affair if she's not breathing air. And this is the road I went down with 4 children who are going to remember me for a long time. All right, if y'all want to remember something great, far nicer than me, give it up for Jamie Patrick. Woo! That's it. That's your last name wrong. Paxton. I'm sorry. Oh!
It's all good.
I love you, Jamie.
What's up, HotBox? You ready to see trans housewife fuck herself with a microphone?
Yeah.
Portland's a weird city. I know that because I was on the train the other day and a white guy from Ohio told me so for 5 minutes. And he was really smart. He also told me so for 5 minutes. And right before he gets off the train, he's like, do you know how to get to Silverado's? For those of you who don't know, that's the gay strip club in town. And yeah, I thought that was fucking hilarious. I could almost pee myself on the train. Funnier, the best part of this is I was on my way to a mic and I get there and my friend's there and he's like, hey girl, what's going on? And I'm like, give me 1 minute. And I open my notebook and I start writing. He's like, who hurt you? So I told him the story and he almost broke the booth that we were sitting in. Trans suicide, that's something you should never joke about. That's why I'm here. Right? I know how I'm gonna die. Don't worry, it's not that. I'm a very happy girl. I'm also a very clumsy girl, and it's gonna look like a suicide. So I've started writing not suicide notes. So when the day comes that my partner inevitably finds me sprawled out at the bottom of the stairs with my foot caught in the dog gate, she won't have survivor's guilt. I live in the upstairs of my house and my bathroom is in the basement. So every night I carry this note and the note says, I told you I was gonna die this way. And you insisted I live up there anyway. Hashtag not suicide. Hashtag murder. That's right, I'm a 40-year-old white woman. I use hashtags inappropriately. Second most likely way I am gonna die, shaving accident. Trans women are the reason Gillette made that short film bashing cis men. We outspend them on razors 12-1. Yay, capitalism. Except for in Portland, all razors are bought by women apparently. Guys don't shave hair. So because of that, I have on the inside of my bathroom door this note tape. This is, I told you I needed money for razors. Hashtag not suicide. Hashtag poor white trans. Shit, I should have brought my set list up here. Anyway, now that we've established that I'm a bad person, I'm not a bad person, but I do have my days. I woke up last week and there was no coffee. So I headed to the Starbucks, and before I could get to the counter, this lady comes up to me and she's like, hey, did you used to work at the 7-Eleven on 99th Street? And I'm like, no, that wasn't me. And she's like, are you sure? And I was like, well, I did get my balls removed, but I'm pretty sure that's not where my memories are stored. Which would probably be nicer than what I actually said, which was, no, that's some other trans cunt you know. I'm going back into that Starbucks, at least until the staff turns over. I figure I got like 3 weeks. Sports, you guys like sports? There's new faces in this room. I hate sports. I did play football in high school, not because I wanted to, obviously. I'm pretty sure it was my stepdad's plan to make sure the girl got beat out of me when I wasn't home. Oh, relax, people. It's not like it worked. At least he cared enough to try. After football became wrestling, which was mostly just awkward. Not that I minded being mounted by pubescent boys with semi-hard-ons. Just wish they were basketball players. You know, like 6 foot, 190, not 5'5" and 230. My first fling in high school was with a girl who turned out to be a diesel mechanic. Yeah, the first time we were gonna have sex, she's like, where do you want to do it? And I'm like, somewhere no one will see us. So she took me to the blind school parking lot. At least she moved her tools and put a towel down. It's more than I can say for some of you guys. You know, I made my partner out to be a murderer in that last joke, but she's really a wonderful person. The first time I met her, I was bartending, and she came in and ordered a beer, and we're making that awkward eye contact, like I do. And she says, just so you know, I'm not into chicks with dicks. And I'm like, that's great, because I'm not into toxic masculinity. Turns out we were both wrong, and I'm living my dream as a 1950s housewife. I usually open with this joke, but I got a minute left. And so who am I? I am a 40-year-old polyamorous pansexual trans woman. Couple of you are like, what the fuck does that even mean? It means I'm really good at awkward eye contact. So good. I was walking to the bus the other day, and I got there and I turned around, and this older black gentleman was walking straight towards me. Wish it would have been like Denzel or Idris Elba, but let's be real. Forrest Whitaker, which made the eye contact a little hard. But I'm a professional, and I nailed it. Last question. Why do guys call their junk their junk? Like, I understand why I call my junk. I can't wait to get rid of that shit. 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 5 seconds. I'm out of time. It's going the wrong way. Thank you guys. That's been our time.
Oh my God. Let's keep it going. Jamie Paxton, everybody. Oh, man. Jamie's a sweetie. Girls are good at math. It was a number thing. You know, it's a situation. Nothing? All right, fine. I feel bad about it. I mean, does that make you guys feel good? So a while back, I kind of made a, I was talking about an experience of mine when I was a kid that I used to sort of prostitute myself to the guy who ran 7-Eleven at night in exchange for comic books, cigarettes, and quarters from the Jerry's Kids jar. And I honestly been feeling kind of bad about that, you know. Mostly the taking the money out of the Jerry's Kids jar thing. I mean, the comic books and cigarettes, I feel like that was fair trade. But you know what made me feel kind of good about that whole situation? I was reading some statistics about the number of kids that are abused at special needs camps, and I feel like I saved like half a dozen kids from getting diddled. So, I'm gonna have ice cream when I get home, motherfuckers. I'm actually writing them a letter. We were like, can I get like a plaque? Like, that's one fucking check for $4 million you're not gonna have to write out to some fucking mad family on television, you know? If it was a Catholic camp, like, lots of kids got saved by me, you know? Sorry, I kind of went off on a tangent there. Coming to the stage is somebody that I probably, if I've met this person before, I get high a lot, you guys. It's a thing. It happens. It's called the HotBox. Look into it. And I've actually just, what's the name? Trevor, coming to the stage. Trevor, Tatone, everybody.
We have not met, Chris. That's why I'm still trying to figure out, are those sideburns attached to your glasses? Your glasses? Like, are you wearing a disguise because you might have actually diddled kids? Like, that's what it looks like. Know my name. Know my name. Just kidding.
No, you're not.
Yeah, where am I? Oh, I was walking down the street the other day, and a homeless guy, he was in a conversation, like one of those normal homeless conversations. He wasn't talking to anybody, and I was walking by, and he put his hand up to whoever he was talking to, and he stopped me and looked at me, he's like, cheer up, you need to smile more. And I was just thinking, how unhappy must I look for a man with no home talking to someone that's not there to think that I look unhappy. I've been told that I have like a resting bitch face, like I got the angry, but I feel like that's kind of like an overused term. It's kind of sexist too. Like I feel like a more gender appropriate term would be like resting dick face, but then that would just make it seem like I have like a tired penis for a face, and I feel like that doesn't really capture what's going on. Yeah. I just hope I don't look like a penis is what I'm saying. That would suck. I've been told by many gay people that I look one conversation away from becoming gay, and it's true. I'm trying to figure out, like, I'm real curious what that conversation's going to be like and when it's going to happen. I get nervous when I talk to random people because it's like, is this going to happen right now? I don't know. It's tricky. I was talking to this one guy, and he was like, hey man, who's your favorite porn star? And I was like, oh, I actually don't really watch porn. I don't have a favorite porn star. And he looked at me like, what are you, some kind of pervert or something? I don't know if that's how that works. I don't think you're using that word correctly. No, I don't know. Porn's kind of weird to me. Like, I've never been so hungry that I just, like, watch videos of people eating sandwiches, you know what I mean? Like, it's a weird concept. Like, I'm a human. I'm a man, okay? I make the sandwich myself and I eat it. You understand what I'm saying? I don't need to watch porn. Okay, go eat that sandwich.
Right.
He knows exactly what I'm talking about. Everyone else is kind of weirded out because they're all trying to do it on Tinder. It's like, just go talk to them in person. That's what normal humans do. I've been calling myself a human a lot lately because I took too many mushrooms. I'm realizing, like, technology's taking over the world. There's no joke to that. That's just true. I'm just always like, I'm a human. I'm not going to do that. That's how I feel. But I say that to, like, dogs and stuff when I'm talking to them high on mushrooms, so it's like a whole thing. Yeah, I'm looking for a new job. Been doing a lot of those job interviews. It sucks. Job interviews are weird because it's like, why would you tell the truth in one of those? Have you, like, if someone tells the truth in a job interview and actually gets the job, they're probably not fun to hang out with. Like, how boring of a person would that be? Like, they ask you the stupidest questions.
Right.
Like, this person, okay, she asked me, what's your biggest weakness? Like, the dumbest question. It's like, in what scenario ever is it a good idea to give up your biggest weakness to anyone? Okay? I'm not an idiot. I watch Game of Thrones, okay? Like, when they give up the biggest weakness, that person dies, okay? Like, oh, spoiler alert. Ned Stark's biggest weakness? not having a head. He is terrible. No, I don't know, it's weird. Like, I'm not going to foreshadow my own murder in a job interview. It's just silly. You just got to lie. You got to lie to get something you don't really want, like you know you're going to hate. It's kind of weird. Like, I don't know. I worked in retail before. Retail's terrible. But, like, people and, like, customers in retail, they just think you have the answer to everything. And so it's kind of weird because, like, I'm actually working a minimum wage job. You're here. Like, I definitely don't know the answers to this. I would sell coats at this place, and this lady came up to me with a coat, and she's like, "This jacket is a size 6. My son's 12 years old. Do you think he'll fit in it?" I'm just thinking, if I knew the answer to that question, that would be a bad thing. Because that would mean I know your 12-year-old son. Also, do I just look like an angry guy who knows 12-year-old boys? Do I know the general size of boys? Like, what am I giving off? Okay, I don't know. It's just a weird vibe. But, no, they believe anything you say. So I just told her, I was like, actually, yes, he's 12, you said? Yeah, just take in the sides a little bit. Let his hips breathe. You know how 12-year-old boys get. She bought the jacket. Joke's on her. Her son's hips are freezing right now. Let that be a lesson to you guys. You gotta lie to get the job. You gotta lie to keep it. And then you gotta, like, lie to everybody, say you're all happy and stuff, but what you're doing is silly. Yeah. I guess we can just stay on the whole kid thing. I smoked a joint, and I went on a run. I like to do that, and I went on a run through the park, and I stopped at the playground to do some pull-ups, because I like to do pull-ups. And I was doing pull-ups, and this kid comes running up to me, and it's like, "Hey, do you want to play?" It's like, no, I don't. But I didn't say that. I was just really paranoid and nervous. And he's like 3 or 4. He's like, "Hey, do you want to play?" I was like, "No, I'm good." And I started getting really nervous because it's like, white men aren't really profiled for anything too negative. But talking to children at a park is definitely something. I'm freaking out. And he's like, "You want to pet my dog?" And now I'm getting uncomfortable. I'm looking around. I don't see anybody. I don't see a dog. I don't see anybody's parents. I don't see anything. And I'm thinking, like, what is happening? Am I on, like, some weird show? Is he like a plant? And, like, the police are going to come after me or something? It was weird. And this is true. He lifted up his shirt and started slapping his belly. Just like that. I'm looking around. I just take off running, terrified, from a 3-year-old boy. I'm running away, and I'm high. And I start thinking, oh, no. That kid was lost. Like, there was no one around. I should probably, like, make sure he's okay. So I stopped running, and I did what anyone would do in this situation. I hid behind a tree, and I just started watching him to make sure no one would, go steal him. And I'm watching him for a bit, and I realized, oh, this is way creepier. And just kept running, left the kid there. So hopefully the little guy's all right. Thanks, guys.
Hey.
Give it up for Trevor, thank you. Alright, so the next comedian coming up, she did her very first set here a while back, a couple weeks ago, and we had a crack addict go through the room and disturb her set twice. That's why the new rule is if you interrupt the HotBox, I'll beat your ass. Don't interrupt somebody's set, goddammit. Alright.
I'm an ex-heckler.
Oh, well.
Ex-heckler.
Alright.
I'm going to reform.
You really don't want me to come after you. Alright. The next comic coming up, Amelia Duos, and I really hope I said that right. Woo!
Yeah. Yeah. We go. That's what I'm talking about.
Hi, my name's Amelia, and I'm an alcoholic. This is the wrong place, sorry. Really hungover. I forgot my jokes instantly. Okay, everybody's right. So I went to Maui last week, bring my son somewhere special for vacation. Woo! And got fucking sunburnt, so now I'm the same color as my asshole. normally don't like to go on trips because I kind of like shit to stay the same, and then I can kind of fuck with it and still know what I'm gonna get.
Yeah.
So I usually call myself the nicest cunt you'll ever meet. Because I do have a big heart, but I'm a little rough on the edges. So let's just call these next few stories allegorical. Working in the service industry at the coast, at a seafood restaurant, on 4th of July, this restaurant was packed with fucking families. And there's a line out the door, like over an hour and a half wait for a fucking table. I'm with this really nice family of foreigners who can't speak or read anything English, trying to help them through the menu. At that time, I get sat like a 10, 11 top. And I'm starting to sweat, it's hot as fuck, there's no AC. You smell like fish and chips, so nobody can tell you're sweating. But I watch this table get sat, I said there's 2 families, some kids, and a fucking bitchy looking woman. And so I keep side-eyeing to her, like trying to like wave her down, like, hey, I'll be right there, I'll be right there. Continue to explain the menu to the family, and I make a breakaway, and before I even stand up to turn around, she slams both fists down on the fucking table and stands up and says, can I get some service in here? And I was like, oh, you're gonna get some service. So I go over there, I was like, hey, I started explaining the situation, and she's like, oh, well, these children are starving, and can we get some crackers or something? And I look at her grandkids, and they are happy as clams, just sitting there coloring away. They don't give a fuck. And she's like, and can we get some new water glasses? These are clearly dirty. And I look at the glasses, and they only had scratches on the outside from just being used a lot going through the dishwasher. And I was like, and I explained that to her, and she still wanted a fresh glass. I'm like, okay, that's totally fine. So I go and I take their orders. And she's like, we need to get some clam chowder right here because these kids are hungry. I'm like, all right. I go to the back, and I was like, hey, Megan, the busser, I was like, hey, that woman over there, and I didn't even tell her this woman's being a bitch or anything, just so I could piss off the woman a little more. I was like, can you go fill her water glass? So she goes and fills, because she goes, and 5 seconds later, she comes back trembling. And she's a little high school student, and she's like, she wants, like, new glasses. She's not really happy. I was like, I'm like, you know what? Don't worry about it. So I go grab some glasses, some clean glasses, and then I walk in the back of this kitchen. This is, if I've ever worked at a restaurant or a seafood restaurant, like, shit hits the floor. So I walk in the back, fully knowing it's slick as fuck and disgusting, and I just kind of start dragging my heels, smelling at the cook. And then I walk back if no one's looking. I take the glass, wipe the bottom of my shoe with both hands, and I swallow the inside of the glass. And I set it down and I bring it over to her, unused, as it is, and I was like, will this be okay? And she shrugs. All right. So I go put the order in, and I was like, all right, she's splitting a dinner fish and chips with her grandson. And I was like, fuck, man. I'm sorry, kid. I'm really sorry, but you're gonna have to take one for the fucking team. Later on, you're gonna have to get some lineage cleared away, But so I pour a cup of chowder, and I was fuming. I had never been people can be assholes to you when you're a server, and I was like, fucking whatever, I don't care, let it slide off. But this woman really got under my skin. And so I knew it was busy. I knew the dry storage was empty. And I went into the dry storage, and I pretended I was getting more oyster crackers. Meanwhile, I was sticking my finger so far up my butthole. By the farthest I've ever stuck my finger up my butthole. I think that's the only reason I've stuck my finger up my butthole.
Jesus Christ.
Wow.
We won't talk about other things. But, so, of course, I come out and just and I look around, and I had just poured the chowder. And they're sitting there steaming, and I was like, I stick my finger, and I just fucking stir it. Really well. I get all the clams and everything. And then I just scrape off the fucking finger, and I went and served the chowder. And the best thing about usually serving clam chowder to tourists is they will fucking lick the bowl clean.
I want that soda.
And you know, after when I went up and she saw that she had literally licked the cup clean, I was just like, you know what, those fireworks tonight are for me. And like it was like ever since then it's been like I have booked 4th of July. I'm like, it is just the perfect reminder, you know? Every time those fucking things go off in the sky, I was like, that bitch never knew what she ate, you know? Let's say that may not have happened a few more times after that too. Probably never gonna get a job in the restaurant business again.
Hope not.
So in that same restaurant, I worked with this woman who she would always come in and complain about her husband's cold hard dick. And I was just like, you know, we're doing opening stuff, and I'm just like, why are you who talks about this shit, right? And then like an hour later, I see her. This is typical. So her walking back to the fucking dishwasher with like plates of food, and she'd be picking food off the plates and eating it.
Oh my God.
I'm not even kidding. And I heard this happen. I've heard people do this, but I'd never seen it until then. And I was just like floored. And I'm thinking, you know what? Like, I'm pretty sure I would take some guy's cold hard dick instead of like Cobb salad with a side of community hepatitis B.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So, yeah, I think I'm gonna end it there while I'm on a good note.
Oh, all right, Amelia Duos, everybody. Yeah, do I want to touch this mic right now? Hey,
I want some of
Linda.
that chowder. No.
Hey, Linda, what is it about this? What is it about this clam chowder at this place? I think they put Romano cheese
world
on it or
famous.
something. What? Is that why they call it budgies? Delicious, cheesy Romano. Because poop kind of smells like. Never mind, it's fine. Nothing. All right, that's fine. I like to make things difficult. I mean, I feel like I'm in a room full of people who like to make things difficult for themselves. Is that a fair assessment? I discovered early on that sometimes people would fuck me, and that was too convenient. So I got into video games and comic books, and then something happened where people still fucked you when you had video games and comic books all over your house. So I thought, well, I'll hang up 3 swords on my wall, and that didn't stop it. So I grew this facial hair, and you know that didn't stop everything. So I got a bowler hat that I keep in my living room, and so far, 100% success. Nobody will fuck you if you have a bowler hat in your living room. Not if you have a bowler hat, 3 swords, bookshelves full of comic books, literally. A Nintendo GameCube Special Edition, Sega Saturn or Sega Dreamcast, and the question mark cube from Super Mario on your wall. Oh, and Kevin Smith dolls. With the bowler hat though, the bowler hat was actually like the fucking one that sealed the deal on that one. I'm just gonna do all of earnest time because are you recording already? Because I'm gonna eat up your whole fucking memory card. How dare you not respect my fucking cameras, you fucking prick. It's a $30 fucking Amazon camera that I'm pretty sure isn't even a camera. I think there's Tic Tacs in that thing. It's fine. Your jokes are not going to get hurt by that thing being full of Tic Tacs at all. Well, I've already started to talk to him, so let's bring him to the stage. Your friend, my friend. Let's give it up for Ernest.
Oh, that last I got weird. I will not be eating clam chowder anytime soon.
Yes, you will.
And you guys laughed at that too. You guys kind of seem like a butt finger in the chowder type crowd. You married, sir? You seem.
Yes.
Or are you pregnant?
Maybe, I don't
I
know.
get this confused too. All right. I'm actually pregnant, so nobody cry. My titties are gonna start leaking.
Wow.
There's rice here, so if they have rice, I have milk. We can make some milk con leche. No, alright. Know your crowd. Know your crowd. Okay, so it's an American dish. What has rice and milk? What an American dish? I don't know. Americans managed to put every food in a porno. I'm gonna leave it at that. There's a lot of cougars. I'm not talking about that last bit. Kind of made me kind of hungry. And a little horny. And cold. I am a little cold. I guess now I know what it feels like to be a cougar. Not a nature cougar, you know, but like the city cougar. Meow. But don't be fooled by the city cougar. She still makes nature cougar noises in the bed. Like, oh, hey, can you lift your leg? Oh, can you get on your back? Oh, right there. Right there. Right there. That's my favorite part. Moving my head back and forth. Teslas are pretty cool. I don't know why I got so many laughs, but
Yeah, right.
I heard in the new Tesla cars, if you crash it, the Michelin Man pops out and fucks you. He's like, I know, man, I tried. If you crash a Chinese Tesla, a Michelin woman pops out and says, "Me so horny." Right?
So horny.
I was on the Max and I was looking out the window. This guy had like a full body tattoo. This guy had so many words on him, he could have published himself as a book. New York bestseller right there. Real life story. From the Bronx. I was on the Max too, and this older gentleman, he was passing down some generational wisdom. He said, "Family's good, but friends are great, 'cause you can fuck them." Yeah, I don't know.
Wow.
Okay.
Right next to us was a guy wearing a bracelet, like an ankle bracelet. And I asked him, like, what's the story? He said, too many speeding tickets. Probably trying to go fuck his friends. I'm a very silly person. So I like to turn like sex names into like fighting names, you know, kung fu names. So like instead of me saying like I'm gonna slap your ass, I'll say I'm a backwards monkey palm your ass. I like to have sex like I'm in a boxing match. Fly like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Break the guard, loads to the face. The hands can't hit what the eyes can't see. I'm gonna leave it on that. Good night. Since Chris is here, a wise man once told me, how high do you get for me to repeat myself to you? I don't know this wise man. He's not here tonight, but very high. That's for you, Chris.
Thank you. Give it up for Ernest. Woo, woo. Woo. What is going on here? I was going to tell you, Amy, you were talking about your mom and how you kind of mess with her because she's, she's a real innocent, sweet little old lady, My mom wasn't a sweet little lady, but as she got older, and my mom had me late in life, I started to realize that she didn't quite catch up with the curses of the time. And my sister and I, our favorite word is cunt. Absolutely my favorite word. You can't hurt me with it.
Mine too.
And yeah, and you can't. And you can't hurt my sister with it either. And one day we're sitting at this restaurant and she has her phone on speaker, and my brother-in-law's there and he goes, "Hey cunt, what's up?" And the whole restaurant loses their fucking mind because they heard my brother-in-law call her cunt. So after they hang up, my mom looks at me and she goes, "Hey, April." And I go, "Yeah." And she goes, "What's a cunt?" This lady sitting close by looks at my mother and she goes, "Mrs. Bowling, that is a horrible word and people shouldn't use it." And I looked at my mom and I said, it's like another word for a vagina. And she goes, "What, like pussy?" And I go, "Yes, mother, exactly." So yeah, so that's how that works. All right, I don't know why I told y'all that. I just wanted to share that story. I wanted to say cunt several times. All right. Give it up for your next comic. He is a funny dude, and I love seeing him. Give it up for Bijan.
Yeah. Whoa. Here we go, Bijan.
Let's give it up for our incredible hosts, April and Chris, everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I like them a lot. They look like kind of like the Natural Born Killers cast in present day. Now, let's give it up for Ernest, too. I think he had an incredible set just now. Said some interesting stuff about cougars. You take the city cougar and bring her to the country. Let me ask you something, Ernest. Is she still menopausal? Don't need to answer that. I just got back from a work trip to Utah. And in Utah, in Salt Lake City, they had an In-N-Out burger. I got to eat an In-N-Out burger. And I realized, it's a super overrated place. Kind of reminds me of Burgerville here. I get it, it's good, it's fine, it's better than McDonald's, but I don't understand all the hype. I think the hype just comes from, drunk 25-year-olds who don't have sports in their lives. That's all I got to root for is, this burger's so fucking good. It's alright. It's a fine burger. When I was on the trip, I was staying in a hotel, and that's the only time I've ever watched TV. I caught up on a bunch of news and stuff that I was unaware of, you guys realize that we were almost in World War III, a week or two ago? Yeah, Pakistan and India almost went at it. Apparently Pakistan shot down an Indian jet, but then they were like, "Hey, we're gonna return the pilot, just truce. Let's just end it here." Which reminds me of when my girlfriend caught me cheating and I was like, "Hey, truce, we're gonna end it right here." So I'm not really in a negotiating position from there, but also saw that the city of Las Vegas is worried that after the shooting, tourism has been down, so they're trying to figure out ways to bring back tourism. So they're actually planning on building this state-of-the-art, bigger than ever, indoor skiing rink. Yeah, this indoor skiing mountain. And they said that they're kind of putting a lot of eggs in that basket, but they're hoping that if it doesn't work out, they'll still have kind of the classics that bring people to Vegas, the hookers. Iran actually put out an announcement that they're not going to speak to the United States while these sanctions are going on, that these sanctions are too harsh, so Iran will not talk to us. But I know as an Iranian that Iran's pulling a little bit of trickery there. There's something they're leaving out. Even if we lift the sanctions, they won't talk to us. They can't. They don't speak English there. J.C. Penney's closing a bunch of branches. A lot of people said that that's oh no, the company's going out of business. But apparently, they're actually closing the branches because it's going to raise the value of the company. It's part of this really sought-after grand scheme they have, this big strategy to raise the money up and go from J.C. Penney to J.C. Nickel. You guys see much about this Green New Deal? That's kind of getting a lot of hype, the Green New Deal. I've heard a lot about it, and I hear it's a really good thing. It's like an important thing that's going to kind of, help wind back a lot of the damage we've done to the planet, but it's going to take a lot of sacrifices. But I realized that I didn't read it, and no one else seems to have read it, so I'm trying to pretend I've read it and tell people that the sacrifices that are in there are just things I don't like. So I've been starting by convincing my girlfriend that ordering Indian food and eating pussy are both against the rules in the Green New Deal. I was like, baby, you can't. The Indian food, there's methane, it's a whole bunch of stuff, and you just can't eat pussy anymore. So, I'm gonna get really petty with it pretty soon, but
I wanted to say something so bad.
I'm glad you didn't. So the NFL draft's coming up. This is always a time of the year that kind of makes me depressed because I played sports for a long time. I played football, and a number of my high school teammates are actually playing in the NFL right now, making millions of dollars. I tell people about that, and they think I'm bragging, and that tells me that they don't know what success is, because they're the ones that are making millions of dollars. I'm the one in a Chinese restaurant doing comedy the night they let anybody. There's a big difference. Anyone ever remember watching? You know what I've realized is like how you watch your porn growing up is kind of a big indicator on like when you grew up. For me, it was cable movies when you'd look at the info and you'd look for that rating, and if it was an R-rated movie and it had an N, big capital N, that meant there was nudity. So I used to watch movies solely based on that. Weird movies like The English Patient or like Eyes Wide Shut. Yeah. I watched like all 9 seasons of Sex and the City. It was crazy. My pursuit to see tits actually led my dad to think I was gay. Pornography is, someone was talking earlier about like, he thinks it's weird to have a favorite porn star. And a friend of mine actually told me that he was going to stop watching porn because he was like, dude, it's gotten too much. I'm starting to watch these videos and recognize these girls. That made me think, like, if he came to that conclusion, I should probably stop watching porn too. Because I've been recognizing the goat. One thing I've been hearing people talk about, and I just want to clear this up, because there's a terrible rumor that seems to be going on, is that Asian women give better blowjobs than other women. That's not true. I mean, I'm sure that could be great, but when you actually dig a little deeper, everyone who says that leaves out the fact that they were already in a great mood after the massage. I like to think I can make Asian jokes because Iran is in Asia. If you guys do that math, and people are like, no, you're Middle Eastern, but that's just a direction. It's not a continent. I wonder in China if they call the Arabian Peninsula the Midwest. Finish up with this. I live in a building that has a tanning salon in the base of it, and I watch people go into this tanning salon all the time, and it really upsets me. I'm half Persian, half Cuban, so I'm a naturally tan person. I'm from Florida, a place where you get a natural tan. And all these people just paying for it really upsets me. But then, I kind of think maybe it's good to let them go in there, let them just kind of get over tan because they'll die quicker of cancer, right? But then I think even further, and I think, wait a minute, I'm a hypocrite, and they do look great. So I joined the tanning salon. So I've been going to Palm Beach Tan, and the first time I went, it really kind of threw me off. I don't know if you guys have ever seen, these beds only have 2 options on them. It's Mediterranean or Caribbean. As I explained, I'm half Persian, half Cuban. Never been more confused trying to make a decision like that in my life. It would have been like Biggie Smalls walking up to a tanning bed and it had 2 options, multi-Grammy winning platinum recording artist and diabetic. Or Sarah Huckabee Sanders walking up to a tanning bed that has 2 options on it, White House Communications Director and cunt. All right, guys, thank you so much.
Robert Kraft, everybody. Robert Kraft.
Yeah.
Let's give it up for B. John, everybody. I gotta say, I don't know if it was worth going over your time for those last 2, but that's okay, buddy. That's okay. That's why it's an open mic. That's why it's a good time. I like that material. Sports. Robert Kraft masturbating, getting handies. handy is handy. I think to get. I just saw, you get something in your head to start. I was watching a lot of football, and of course, when you're on YouTube, it just decides, oh, this guy must want to hear a lot about football right now. So I was watching a video about a guy. He's the #1 running back in NFL history, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. And he was getting an award from the Special Olympics, and I thought, well, that's cool. He does a lot of work with the Special Olympics. No, he does. Also, turns out he competed in the Special Olympics when he was a kid. The #1 fucking running back in the NFL was in the Special Olympics when he was a kid. So I want you, do you know what he does for a living? All right, now imagine that with a bunch of corkies running around the fucking field, all right? Jesus fucking Christ. I mean, goddamn. Where's the tape is what I'm asking. I want to see that shit. Be mad at me, but I'm not the one that put him on the fucking field, that's all I'm saying. So those of you who laugh seem like sadistic, evil pieces of shit. So you'll have an opportunity to engage in that while taking a strike against a fucking evil dictator in, all right, whatever. They sewed it to his head. I don't give a shit. It's still a wig. You guys know what I'm talking about. Let's not talk about Voldemort in here. But let's talk about somebody that you can kick square. Kick? Is it punch? Kick or punch? Kick squaw in the nuts for against Trump tomorrow?
Yeah.
Where?
Farmers market, Saturday market.
So people are ready to get arrested for something that probably seems like a sex act to anybody calling 911. And you guys got big legs over there, right? Kick the shit out of this guy's nuts. Because we don't want any more of this. So we'll only need one of this guy. But we do need one of this guy. And he's coming to the stage right now. Let's give it up for Mr. Andrew Christensen.
Thank you. I've been making friends lately, which is pretty cool. Just have to get kicked in the nuts for it. But I've been hanging out with people outside of work, and it turns out I'm a lot more interesting when you're getting paid to hang out with me. It's kind of right. All of a sudden I'm not funny, which is a little bit, it is what it is. I feel like the reason why I'm not funny, like a buddy of mine was telling me, he was saying, you're just like a premise machine, a machine. You make a lot of premises, which is like a really nice way to say you're just bad at the funny part of being funny. You got a lot of ideas, bro. You just can't make the funny happen. It's probably because when I work, quotation, when I work on my jokes, it's usually like a fraction of a second. Proper fraction of a second on an improper. I feel like people don't specify that enough. I don't know if you guys watch science documentaries, but that could be a 45-minute orgasm. Because it's an improper fraction, right, of a second. I'm funny. I'm funny. I can live with that joke. That was the other new bit that I was gonna work out, man. Hold on. Everybody be quiet while I remember what funny is. We'll just sit there in silence. I don't know, man. I've been kind of thinking about quitting comedy because, at its worst, this has been a really thank you. Anybody who puts time back in the room, man. I've been thinking about just because at its worst, this has been a great excuse to do drugs and alcohol, and at its best, it's actually a pretty good excuse to do drugs and alcohol.
Yeah.
If you eliminate that element, this is kind of a very depressing event. Which is fine, it's just that, I feel like it started out, I actually started doing stand-up comedy to help me talk to women, and guess what is not in my life? Guess what has completely left my life? That's the women part. That is what it is, man. I was reading about this Indian goddess Yenama. Have you guys brushed up on your Indian goddesses? It's a lot of reading, but Yenama, she's an interesting one. My new favorite of the one Indian goddesses that I know, but she's the Indian goddess of temple prostitutes, which is a thing apparently. They just don't talk about it in America, but they have temple prostitutes out there. But they also have a caste system. So if your parents are stone workers, you pray to the stone worker god, and you're a stone worker, and so on. But if your parents are temple prostitutes, then you're just, whether you're a guy or a gal, that's what your life, you're going to be blowing priests. And that's just your whole, and you have a whole goddess, and that's all you do. It is really cool, actually, because at least if you're fucking a dude, he's old enough to pay taxes, right? I mean, it's above board, the government gets a cut, we're all good here. When I heard about this, I was pretty amazed that someone found a way to make church better, to be honest with you. I didn't know if church could get any better, but there it is. What do you know? Somebody did it. And it's just kind of ballsy when like there's never been a higher STD rate. Do you guys get checked for STDs, AIDS? You guys, yeah, exactly. It's a room full of comedians, man. See, and I think this, I wanted to say this joke's been done. What? Like I'm bursting a bubble. Comedians don't get checked. They don't get. It's a very low lifespan for comedians. There's not enough time for that shit, man. You tell jokes and you fuck as fast as you can. See, and that's why I don't know if this joke has been done or if comics just don't get AIDS tests. But essentially, when I went to go get an AIDS test, they told me that it's possible to get a negative result and still have AIDS. In fact, if this is the case for you, then you're actually more contagious than you would have been if we had caught the AIDS virus in your body now. Does that make sense to you? You're nodding like that made sense. I paid this guy $150 to tell me if I had AIDS. He just came back and he's like, you might be a werewolf, bro. We really don't know what the fuck is going on here. That was the worst answer I ever got. Killed me, man. Killed me. You guys think thumbs are cool? Opposable thumbs? Does anybody here think thumbs are cool? Man, you use them every day, but take them or leave them, whatever, man. It's just that, like, I always have this, like, I'm always trying to justify this Harry Potter, ESP, magic is real kind of shit, which goes over real well at work. But I was just kind of talking to one of my buddies, you know, and trying to, like, prove a point that there's some, like, gift evolution gave humanity. He said, yeah, it's a thumb. It's not that epic, you know, it's kind of boring. And you're right, thumbs are really boring because if you look through nature, they're actually super common. Like a lot of animals have pandas. Pandas have thumbs. You know what pandas don't have? Race riots. They don't have gods or ideologies that fit on a bumper sticker. That's human shit. That's what humans do. That's what we're about, man. Pandas are in the here and the now. They're all about big grass and big bitches. They don't care about your god. That's pandas, man. I'm gonna leave time on the board. I am, yeah, nice. Yeah, fuck closing jokes. Good night. Goodbye, everybody. Oh, yeah, tomorrow at Saturday Market, I'll be dressed as Trump. If you donate to the food bank, you can kick me in the nuts.
Woo! I'll be there kicking him in the nuts. Yeah. All right, Bijan, you said you were from Florida?
Yeah.
What part?
Fort Lauderdale?
Oh, okay, right on. I lived in Zephyr Hills.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's a podunk, nothing, like little redneck town, yeah. I have no jokes for that. I just wanted to Alright, I'm not even going to adjust this because Jesus, it's tight as fucking man. That's what she said. Alright. Alright, everybody, give it up for your next comic, Brian Bixby.
Oh, that's what she said.
Yeah.
Sing. Do you guys know cats can have AIDS?
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know that. Blew my mind. You know, if my cat had AIDS, I'd be cute with it. I would name him Freddie Meow Curie. Aw, I know, right? It's adorable. I recently, a couple weeks ago, I witnessed something very racist. I was visiting my hometown in Wisconsin, and that was it. It was just very racist there. That's all I did. I went to the beach last weekend. I went to the beach. That's a weird sight. A ginger at the beach. It's out of place. Like, I don't know. It's like a skinny panda floating on a block of ice. It's just sad. I don't know. I am fat. I'm fat, you know. I don't care. Fuck your criticism. I don't care. You know, I'm fat because I love food. You know who else loves food? Starving children. Are you gonna call them gluttonous pigs too? Yes, I'm fat. I like being like that. Cause I'm not afraid. I'm only 26 and I'm very out of shape. But I'm not afraid to get old. You know, I want to feel young. When I'm 70 and can't climb stairs, it's like, hey, just like in my 20s. All right, that's pretty sweet. I'd say I did good. That's what I think. I've had a lot of jobs. I used to work at a college. I was a janitor at the college. But people would still say to me, like, hey, college chicks, right? College chicks? I'm a fucking janitor. Like, what are you? Statistically, it's more likely that you fall in love with your kidnapper than it is the janitor at your college. Even though those are both statistically the same person. They're one and the same. The numbers are skewed. So that's, I have a girlfriend now, though. She's cool. She recently had her asshole bleached for me because I spilled red wine on it. So I had to get them stains out. She's like, "Oh, you're clumsy." We did an at-home bleaching. That was fun. It's not that any fun to say. She's cool. She's nice. I don't know. I think I'm a good boyfriend. I don't know. I know I'm a good rebound. I'm a good rebound. Like, and I won't make your ex jealous, but I will make them concerned about you. So that's just as good, I think. They'll call you. Anyway. Yeah, it's all right. It's cool. I have a really, my girlfriend's gorgeous. She's way out of my league. She's really pretty. Here's how a fat guy gets a pretty girlfriend. What you gotta do is you gotta find a girl who's drinking alone on Father's Day. She's the one. She's it, right? Every girl I've been with calls me daddy. And I'm like 26, like I'm not anywhere near a dad. I'm just, I don't know. It's because I hit him. No, it's because... All right. Good to know you guys are cool. All right. No, it's cool. I lost my virginity, believe it or not. I lost it. I lost it a little late in life. I was a late bloomer. I had sex when I was, for the first time when I was 22. I was 22 and I lived in Alaska. And I fucked a native, an Alaskan native. And like, it was fun. Like, we got drunk and we went back to my place because two fatties can't hump in an igloo. Right? Like, you can't. That's how you end up kneeling in a puddle. That's how it happened. Yeah, science. Thanks for the best jokes. I love abortion. It's great, isn't it? Yeah, oh man, I love it. It's great. I don't get people. Some people are against it, and I'm like, why? Like, that's stupid. Why again? Like, sometimes it's a mistake. Like, yeah. Are you also against returning things you drunk bought on eBay? Like, what's your problem? Like, really? And they'll say, like, their answer to it is like, well, you know, what if that's a future president? What if that's I don't know. Vote for someone else. Like, I don't know what to tell you. We're having her scraped. We're going right in there, just that's how I think abortions are done. Just like, I got his ankle. That's what they do. Some people are like, you know, you just want to kill babies. That's ridiculous. Who the hell wants to kill a fetus? You can't even see the fear in their eyes. You know what I'm saying? Where's the fun in that? You want to kill babies? Don't vaccinate. It's so easy. It's so easy. Yes. That's what I do. Anyway. So I like to jerk off. I jerk off. I watch a lot of porn. Whenever I watch porn, I always keep the video running for 20 minutes after I'm finished. Because I'm convinced that somebody's keeping track of that shit. And I don't want my record to look like a Hulu commercial break. Like, I want to look like I was there. I want them to be like, wow, what a champ. Like, he was here for 23 minutes. All right, that's cool. Women have all the good masturbatory technology, though, right? It's true. It's true. The Sibian machines. You seen these? You watch porn? They're like a mechanical bull for the clit. You know? It's like orgasm meets country bar. It's pretty fun. When they come, they yell, "Yeehaw!" And it's all good like that. Wait, is that counting backwards?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, I had some pussy material I wanted to get to.
Stop bragging.
No, I love vaginas. Every one of them I've seen has just been fantastic. Like, it's amazing. Like, I don't even care. Like, I don't care any pussy I see. I don't care if it's pointing a gun at me. I still love it. It's still like wow, what a grip. This one girl I was with told me, she told me she would never fuck a black guy, which is weird. Like, I'm like, what? She's like, well, I'm not racist, but my pussy is. Your pussy's racist? Like, that's a pretty heavy accusation to lay at a pussy. Like, usually the worst thing a pussy can be accused of is making a fart noise, you know? Like, that's it. And then, but then she queefed the N-word to prove it. So, it's kind of like, all right, thanks a lot, guys. Have a good night. Thank you.
Brian Bixby's funny enough to run the lights sometime. 26? That's actually why I let him go over. I'm just, oh my God. I mean, he doesn't have a lot of time left. You guys. Give him one of your minutes, you know? Fuck. 26. God damn, that's just sad. I genuinely got bummed out. I laughed at myself. That's fun. Trying to do better as a person. Obviously not my treatment of Brian. But otherwise, trying to do better as a person. Trying to make fewer decisions based on fear. But my fucking shrink won't give me Valium. So that's not working out too well. But you know what is working out well? The next comedian coming to the stage, Ms. Danielle Porter.
So my job consists of being vomited on, pooped on, and walked in on in the bathroom. It's the weirdest HR job I've ever had. Actually, I specialize with working with little humans. I'm a nanny. It's like an HR job in the way that I have to keep kids from angry crying because I won't let them play with the stapler. I work with a little baby, and I've come to the conclusion that I think babies are magic. Mostly because when I'm rocking my baby to sleep, I'll be looking into her eyes, and I'll just go, I could do this. I could be a mom. I could have a kid right now. Were the Republicans right? Should I not have gotten that abortion? And then my boss comes in the room, takes the baby out of my arms, puts her in her crib. And it's like I come out of a trance. I think about what it would really mean to be a mom. I'd have to spend holidays with my mom because she'd have to see her grandkids. And I could picture my kid throwing a giant tantrum in the grocery store, just screaming, tears coming out of their eyes, snot everywhere, stomping their feet. And it's all because I said they couldn't have dog food for dinner. And then I think, I'm so glad I got that abortion. I fucking hate kids. And then I remember that I have chosen a job that I go to every day where I have to work with children. I feel like targeted advertisement has gone a little too far. I was buying some toys for my nanny kids the other day, and an ad popped up and it said, "Are you looking for the best 2019 toys for your grandchild? You buy one or the pair of shoes, and you're blacklisted for life." I'm kind of a shitty dater, and I keep telling my friends that I'm going to quit dating. I'm done with it. I'm going to delete Tinder. And then like 20 minutes later, they find me in a corner, rocking back and forth, sipping on some vodka, and just swiping profusely. I feel like my relationship with Tinder is like my relationship with my mom. It's there, but it shouldn't be. To me, dating feels like a really overpriced drug that I'm paying way too much for. And like the side effects aren't known because the commercial doesn't say anything, but there's like 100 other side effects. And it's like, dating can cause unexpected pain, random outbursts of tears, being dead inside, and dryness. I was talking to one of my friends the other day, and we were talking about how one of our friends is dating a 20-year-old and he's 23. And to me, I think that's kind of weird because I don't want to date a 20-year-old boy. My dating range is 23 to 36, so it's either I'm dating somebody who's just renting their first apartment or they're going on to their second marriage. And then for some reason he starts to rank this girl and he goes, she's a 6. But if you put out, you go up 2 points. So now she's an 8. And then he goes, don't worry, Danielle, you're an 8. You know, on the one hand, this guy is totally sexualizing me, being a little misogynistic, a little bit gross. But on the other hand, I'm a 10. Yeah. I hooked up with this dude the other day, and I left like real early in the morning. And I told him it was because I wasn't feeling good, but really I just wanted to get the hell away from him. I went home and went on a run. I think that if you have to exercise after exercising, you have not done your job. I was talking to my mom the other day, and I made the mistake of asking her how to spell the word compatibility, and she took that to mean that she could give me some unsolicited advice on dating. And we're Jewish, so my mom has moved on from her unsolicited matchmaker phase to her unsolicited advice phase to full-on matchmaker. And you'd think that she'd be setting me up with like nice young Jewish bachelors, you know, maybe a doctor or a lawyer, but not my mom. No, she's setting me up with her friends' loser kids that I've known my entire life. Her reasoning is, you should go with Jay. He recently got a haircut, he lost a little bit of weight, he's coming to some money, he can take care of you. And I'm like, Mom, you're telling me to fuck this guy. You're telling me to fuck Jay. The only magic in the bedroom he has seen is when he plays Magic the Gathering. And she does this thing where she gets really accusatory and she goes, what? No. But if you could give me some grandchildren, that would be great. My mom is so baby obsessed that she one time asked me to stay home from college to have a child, and then she would raise the baby. I would not get a say. When we go to the grocery store, she just looks at people's babies and she's like, and then walks over to the mom and goes, you know, you're holding your baby wrong. That's all I got for you guys, thanks.
Give it up for Danielle, thank you. All right, so our next comic coming up is the wonderful and fantastic Josh Flores.
How we doing, Ming Lounge? My name is Joshua Flores. Just gonna go ahead and say it. I'm with Danielle. Fuck those kids. They're awful. They're just terrible human beings, each and every one of them. I worked for AmeriCorps for a little while, which is essentially domesticated Peace Corps. We worked in a community of at-risk youth kids. It was 10 minutes down the road from my house, so, you know. The second day at work, I worked with this girl named Keely. She was 6'2", redhead, just, for lack of better words, really nice body, right? She could get it. But I'm talking to her as we're setting up for our after school program, and I see a little boy walking towards her from behind, and he's getting ready to smack her on the butt, right? And he says, "Hey there, black ass." And she turns around, grabs his hand, and says, "Jesse, I told you to stop calling me that." He had been calling her that. He was in 2nd grade. The kid was awful. Fuck kids, man. Right? Thank you. Somebody else on board with kids. Like what? They're our future or some nonsense? My 3rd week there, I'm walking into the classroom I'm tutoring in, and the teacher says, "Hey, Eldrick got kicked out of class again. He stored rocks in his shoe again and was throwing them at the girl he likes in the row in front of him. Help him with his homework packet, and then talk him down." He was pretty upset that he got kicked out of class. He knows why he got kicked out of class, though. He was being a little shit. So I helped him with his homework packet, and I was trying to talk him down. I said, "Hey, Eldrick, you know why you got kicked out, right?" He says, "Yeah, I know I got kicked out." And I said, "You know, you're going to get kicked out every time this happens. You got to make better choices." He says, "No, I'm just a bad kid." And I was like, "No." I was like, that doesn't sit well with me. I can't have you thinking that. I'm not leaving this conversation with you thinking you're a bad kid. It's not gonna sit well with me. He says, "No, I'm just a bad kid. That's why I'm never gonna get adopted." I don't know what the fuck to say to this kid anymore. I've had both my parents my whole life. I can't connect with him, right? Really fucked me up for like 3 weeks. I was just like, what? How am I supposed to connect with Eldrick now? He was a cool kid, very severely ADD. I wanted to be there for him, right? 3 weeks later, at our after school program, he's there running around, and the gentleman walks up to me. He says, "Hey, I'm here to pick up Eldrick." And my heart leapt, and I was like, "Oh, fuck. Eldrick got adopted. This is amazing. I get to experience this moment." I was like, trying not to be weird. I was like, "Hey, are you like his foster parent or like, brother or something?" He's like, "No, I'm Eldrick's dad." "What did Eldrick say?" Right? I was like, Eldrick told me he was waiting to get adopted, right? And he chuckles and he says, "Well, that little fucker's gonna have to wait longer now," and took him home. Never saw him again. It was amazing. Fuck kids. They're awful. Especially mine. I got 2 kids. They're just at home, sick little germ monsters. It's great. Yeah. How many people here have seen me do comedy before? Getting pretty liberal with calling it comedy. Thanks, guys. I decided I'm not going to do comedy anymore. I'm just going to get up here and I'm going to try to be honest with people more about myself. Because that's really the goal, right?
Or comedy.
What was that?
Or comedy.
Or comedy? Are you guys really trying to be comedians? You're not just trying to be better every day? Like Chris? Chris wants to be better every single day. Put that on your list. Can we check that off? Chris never gets to check it off. It's on his list every day, though. It's wanting it, right? I'm just killing time. So what did I want to talk about? So I work at a cafe that sees a lot of kids, and it's in the Pearl District, and we have a cleaning guy at the end of the night because of course we do, and of course he's Mexican. Sorry. Stereotypes are there for a reason, let's be real. He turned me on to a great place in Beaverton, the best carnitas I've ever found in Portland, like fire. His exact words translated into English were, "Don't tell the gabachos about it, they'll ruin it." Retweet, right? Yeah. It's just white people ruin everything. I'm sorry. Thank you for coming out tonight, white people. I mean, there's a few people that aren't. Thank you. Thank you. Brought some color. This is amazing. Jean, thank you. I'm sorry, everyone else. This is going to be a little uncomfortable. But for the past, 500 years or something, they made it uncomfortable for us. It's time for a change, right? Let's see. I know I shouldn't be doing this. You guys can hold it against me, it's fine. So a coworker asked me the other day if I was into edging, right? Very strange conversation to bring up at work. I didn't know watching a Mexican work in your yard was a fetish. And she pulled me aside one day and she said, hey, I don't want to make it weird. I caught you checking out my ass. And if I saw it, somebody else could see it. I just, she's like, I like the attention. I just don't want you to get in trouble. I was like, yeah, good looking out. But this is Portland. Everybody walks everywhere. Everybody has a nice ass. Like, right? No? I saw a homeless person outside of 7-Eleven the other day in a pair of Daisy Dukes. Nicest ass in all of Portland. I don't know where this guy was walking, but I'm going to follow this man around, and I'm going to have the nicest ass in Portland as well. Y'all need to step your game up. Especially you, Chris. You got what's holding those pants up, man? All right. Okay, I'm sorry I brought that up. Okay, let's change gears. Thanks, guys. That's been my time. Thank you.
Josh Flores, everybody, let's keep it going for him. What's holding my pay? Oh, the light just went out. I think some of that's all right. Can you plug that in for me? Did it go out? I don't know. Thanks, buddy. You got it. Oh, went out again. Fell out again. That's all right. Who the fuck cares? It's just flickering now. It's awesome. It's fine. It's fine, you guys. We're at that point in the fucking evening anyways. Stereotypes. Thanks, Josh. That'll help our reputation out a bunch. It's interesting how stereotypes get formed, right? It's like first impressions. Like for years, I thought all black men had pornography and were fucking my mom. That's why I really like black people a whole bunch, and I assume why she does too. A lot of uncles is what I'm saying. A lot of uncles. Seen a lot of African American men in boxer shorts having breakfast at my house. Hi, Mom. She does watch this. It's great. Really fun. Hi, Mom. Judith, how you doing? How's Florida? Good to see you.
Because
we're gonna say hi.
like, Judith is a whore.
Judith is a... Everybody, come on. Judith is a whore. Judith is... All right, no, it's all right. Oh, my God. Oh, look at that. That's what... She's going to think she's having a flashback when she sees that guy. Jesus Christ. You can't do that to an almost... She's almost 70 and did a lot. She did the brown acid, dude. She thinks she did. She's got a story about... Never mind. I'll tell stories about how my mom bragged about getting railed by random guys to me, but... I feel like that might put her in a weird light for you guys. Hi, Judith. How you doing? Coming to the stage is your ultimate comedian of the evening. You guys, I want to thank you all for coming out to the HotBox. We're giving, for sticking around. Let's get our lungs going by giving some applause right now. Get a punch up in here. Let's keep it lively. Let's warm it up for Mr. Frank Bane. Woo!
Alright, thank you for that. I was already kind of in a weird energy entering tonight, so it's great that the lights went out and we talked about fucking Chris's mom for a little while. I was in a weird energy because I came here about a month ago and told you all a story, at least the ones that were here, about my Vegas strip club experience. And then I went and wrote some more material and had probably the closest experience to a girlfriend that I've had, which involved about a month of dating, a couple weeks of ghosting in the middle. Pretty great date about a week ago that ended with her getting a call from a friend, and then a text the next evening at 5 p.m. that said, let's see, "Hey, you're a great guy, but I don't feel a romantic connection with you." This was the day after spending 8 hours with me. It was great. I appreciate our time together, and I don't know what else to say. So, in case you didn't tell by this point, I was homeschooled. Yeah, I've acclimated to your normal ways. I was homeschooled up until 8th grade. Yeah, if you needed a chance to freshen your drinks or go use the restroom, this would be a great time to check up on my off-putting persona.
I'm here with you, man.
Thanks. No, I sound really sad right now, but it's actually pretty good. No, a couple years ago, I thought I was going through depression. I didn't really deal with it at all. You know, they talk a lot about depression, like you know, the things that you go through, and yeah, sure, you nap a lot. You know, you go through it. You go through it. Everybody goes through it differently. But you know, some people. I just got really close with the staff at my local pet pantry. You know, you go in there, you leave a penny, take a penny, just for the novelty of it, just for the conversation. It's great. No, it's great. So yeah, no, everybody has different perspectives on homeschoolers. I went over to my grandpa's house the other day, and let's just say Grandpa doesn't exactly like people that don't look like Grandpa. Conversation drifted, and you know, the times that we're in right now, he was choosing his words really well, I could tell. The words that came out of his mouth were, I feel like sometimes some people who don't speak English are making it up. Which is a great sentence, let me tell you. That's, as far as sentence efficiency is concerned, the words are just all well picked out from the beginning to the end. Yeah, no, I grew up in the church. That was why we were homeschooled. I don't want to say sheltered, but that's obviously the energy that my mother brought to the table. I was in youth group when I was in high school, and you know, it's normal. I mean, it's normal up until you get the MySpace letter. I don't know if you guys got this from your you know, people in authority. The MySpace letter? No? Anyone? No. Apparently we weren't supposed to use MySpace. Facebook is okay. Once Facebook came around, it was like everybody got on Facebook, but no, it was like everybody be careful because there's this new threat. MySpace. I don't know if you've heard about it, but apparently sharing your My Chemical Romance song with all your friends was what was going to lead you to the devil. That was that was the ultimate sin there. It was normal. I mean, it was non-denominational, so of course, you know, we went in there and you know, they had the whole thing about gay people and everything else, but also they had a GameCube and pizza parties. I had a set list. It was great. This is great. I mean, we had different nostalgia is the thing. Like we had Arthur and all that. I didn't really have cable, but I knew what Rugrats were. But we also had, so you guys had Friends, for example. You guys had the television show Friends. Everybody knows that. We had my youth pastor saying that Friends was not okay for whatever reason. I mean, he went on this rant forever. Like Friends is the devil. Because apparently at that point, men and women having normal adult relationships was not okay. That was going to be my good punchline. I would feel good about that. But no, one of the things about growing up in the church is, you know, you get a certain sense of style. And so, obviously, I mean, no, I really like polo shirts. Polo shirts are great, you know. They're really the ultimate commitment-free collar. Because, you know, for like this, you have to put on some buttons, you have to put some effort into it. You just slip it on. It's a commitment-free collar. It's great. It's like the Facebook event, maybe. You just put it on and there you go. All right. I told my friend I was coming out tonight. I did high school speech and debate, and so we did this a lot. And I'm not going to show him this because I'm bombing the shit out of this right now. But he gave me a good one-liner, which was, in high school, I was voted most likely to end up with a stripper, and I feel like that's a good place to end on. So, all right, thank you very much.
Thank you. Give it up for Brian Baines. Thank you. All right, that was fantastic. All right, that was the April 5th, 2019 HotBox 2.0. That's it for the evening, guys. Thank you for coming out. Give yourself a hand.
That was the you, illegal. Well, I'm a true addict. Oh shit, I got a head rush.
Let's do this shit for real. Come on now.